Now, if I were to go back in time to when humans still existed, I would go back, I'd chill with Isaac Newton.
In a world where the boundaries of time and space are shattered, where the secrets of the future and the past collide in a dazzling fabric of possibilities, one individual has emerged from the year 2345 to deliver an urgent and chilling message. He claims to be a time traveler, a rogue explorer of the fourth dimension, burdened by the knowledge of cataclysmic events set to unfold in our world. But can we believe this mysterious visitor from the future? Join us on a journey beyond the limits of time and imagination as we delve into the mysterious world of a time traveler who warns and says, "I'm a time traveler from the year 2345. I'm so sorry for what's coming." Nikola Tesla's time travel predictions. In 1895, during his pioneering experiments with the Tesla coil, an invention he created, Nikola Tesla made a groundbreaking discovery that would shape the course of electrical engineering. He found early hints that manipulating time and space might be achievable through potent magnetic fields. This revelation partly sprang from his work with radio frequencies and the wireless transmission of electrical power through the atmosphere. Years later, Tesla's modest beginnings would lead to the notorious yet contentious Philadelphia experiment, rumored to have occurred in October 1943 during World War II. As the story goes, the U.S. Navy conducted a clandestine operation at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, enlisting Nikola Tesla for his expertise in electromagnetism. Their objective was to cloak the USS Eldridge, a destroyer escort, from radar detection and even teleport it from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia. Although official confirmation of the experiment remains elusive, it continues to stir speculation and intrigue. But even before these alleged classified military ventures, Tesla had already made captivating discoveries. The Philadelphia experiment. In July of 1943, the United States found itself deeply embroiled in one of the most devastating conflicts the world had ever witnessed: World War II. The Allies were locked in a fierce struggle in Fortress Europe and North Africa, and the need to support their troops was paramount. Brave convoys regularly sailed across the treacherous waters of the Atlantic, risking their lives to maintain a constant supply line from the United States to war-torn Europe. The valiant sailors of the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the merchant marines embarked on these perilous journeys each time they left the safety of the pier. They knew that every convoy became prey to the relentless German wolf packs, the infamous U-boats. In 1942 alone, German U-boats sank an astonishing 6 million tons of Allied shipping, an average of almost 2 ships every day. Over 30,000 courageous Allied sailors lost their lives to these underwater predators, who seemed to be sinking ships faster than they could be constructed. Desperation set in, and something had to change. That change arrived in the early summer of 1943, when a small Cannon-class escort destroyer, the USS Eldridge, sat in dry dock at the Philadelphia Naval Yards. This ship, barely a month into service, was about to undergo a transformation like no other in maritime history. Loaded with cutting-edge generators and experimental technology, the USS Eldridge was on the cusp of a revolutionary leap, making the Wright brothers' first flight appear like child's play. The ship was equipped with a daring experimental device designed to render it invisible to detection. Inspired by the brilliant physicist Albert Einstein's unified field theory, the vessel would not only manipulate its gravitational field, but also its electromagnetic field. By deploying potent generators to bend the rays of light around the ship, this daring experiment would render the USS Eldridge entirely invisible to the naked eye. The USS Eldridge D-173, a remarkable vessel, was commissioned by the U.S. Navy in 1942, one of a fleet of 116 Cannon-class destroyer escorts ordered around that time. In the heart of Newark, New Jersey, her keel was laid down on February 22, 1943, at the Federal Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company's shipyard. Measuring an impressive 93 meters in length, with a beam of 36 feet 10 inches and boasting an 11-foot 8-inch navigable draft, the USS Eldridge was a formidable presence. Her power was derived from 4 General Motors Mod 16 TAC 278A main diesel engines, capable of generating 6,000 ship horsepower. These engines were connected to 4 diesel-electric transmissions that drove the ship's twin screws, allowing the USS Eldridge to achieve a respectable cruising speed of around 21 knots. It's worth noting that while the ship's speed was nothing extraordinary, it was designed as a destroyer escort, not a full-fledged destroyer. Unlike destroyers, which were tasked with escorting and safeguarding large military fleets and thus required high speeds to keep up with cruisers, battleships, and carriers, destroyer escorts were specifically crafted for the protection of merchant ships and troop transports. As such, they were typically smaller and less heavily armed, prioritizing their escort duties over raw speed. The USS Eldridge carried a crew of 216 individuals, consisting of 201 enlisted sailors and 15 officers. Her armament was nothing short of formidable, equipped with 3 76mm Mark 22 main guns, a 40mm bow-mounted anti-aircraft gun, 8 20mm Oerlikon anti-aircraft guns, 3 21-inch torpedo tubes, a Hedgehog Mark 10 anti-submarine mortar launcher, as well as 8 Mark 6 depth charge projectors and 2 Mark 4 depth charge racks. The USS Eldridge was a force to be reckoned with, prepared for any challenge that came her way. The USS Eldridge was recently adorned with a fresh coat of paint and brimmed with cutting-edge technology as it sat majestically in a dry dock at the Philadelphia Navy Yards. Over 100 military officers, researchers, and technicians stood in awe as the ship's entire crew, poised and ready, awaited a test that could potentially reshape the course of the war and revolutionize naval warfare. The generators on board hummed to life, releasing a burst of electrifying energy that captivated all in attendance. As if by magic, the ship didn't merely become elusive to radar or sonar, it was cloaked in a mysterious greenish fog, and then, in a twist of scientific marvel, it vanished completely. Einstein's unified field theory had held. Light itself was being bent around the ship, rendering it entirely invisible to the naked eye. The jubilation among the researchers was palpable. This experiment had surpassed their wildest expectations. However, their relationship was short-lived. When the generators were powered down and the ship re-emerged from its invisible shroud, a grim discovery awaited them. Several sailors displayed dreadful burns etched upon their bodies. Nausea gripped them all, and an unsettling sense of terror seemed to have taken hold. One sailor had inexplicably descended a deck below where he had been standing, as though he had passed through solid steel. His hand, shockingly, had fused with the bulkhead, binding flesh to cold steel. In the words of the researchers, some of the men had, in their own words, gone completely bananas. It was a bittersweet victory. The experiment had indeed made a 300-foot, 1,600-ton steel behemoth vanish, but at a tremendous cost to the crew, who were grappling with the strange and horrifying consequences of their breakthrough. On the 28th of October, 1943, a fateful day when another test was ordered for the USS Eldridge, there was a sense of determination to iron out the kinks before unleashing this groundbreaking technology that could potentially turn the tide of the war. The prospect of an entire fleet of invisible warships fighting on behalf of the Allies loomed tantalizingly close. As daylight bathed the ship, no changes or recalibrations were made to the experimental equipment. They initiated the field once more, but this time, the ship didn't merely vanish from sight. It appeared to phase out of reality itself. To the astonishment of all, the USS Eldridge, a fully armed destroyer escort, appeared nearly 300 miles away in Norfolk, Virginia, alongside the merchant vessel SS Andrew Furuseth. The crew aboard the merchant ship could scarcely believe their eyes as the USS Eldridge materialized in a flash of strange blue light, glowing with an unsettling green hue. For a few surreal minutes, the two ships seemed to overlap as if existing in different dimensions. Then, as abruptly as it had appeared, the USS Eldridge vanished and reappeared back in Philadelphia. Researchers rushed aboard, eager to congratulate the crew and unravel the mysteries of this unprecedented journey. What they found, however, was more horrifying than before. Sailors writhed in agony, their bodies mangled and burned. Some were fused with the very metal of the ship as if it had claimed them as its own. The sheer brutality of the aftermath left them screaming in agony, with limbs transformed into distorted extensions of the vessel. In one ghastly scene, what had once been a man was now inside out, life extinguished in a nightmarish fashion. Others, to this day, remain lost in the folds between realities, never to be seen again. The experiment was unequivocally a colossal failure. In its wake, a clandestine operation was launched to erase the evidence, brainwash sailors, manipulate records, and conceal the government's dark secrets. The consequences were a harrowing legacy, etched in the form of deaths, dismemberments, and shattered lives among the Navy's brave sailors. Tesla's first invention. Meanwhile, earlier in March 1895, Tesla embarked on a journey into the unknown, setting the stage for his remarkable experience with time travel. Reports suggest that on March 13, a New York Herald reporter encountered Tesla in a quaint cafe where the inventor appeared profoundly shaken. His unsettling demeanor stemmed from a shocking encounter with 3.5 million volts. Tesla recounted the near-fatal incident, admitting that the electrical spark had surged a full meter through the air, striking him on the right shoulder. He emphasized the gravity of the situation, explaining that had his assistant not swiftly terminated the current, it might have marked the end of his life. The resonance of the electromagnetic charge had a profound effect on Tesla. It momentarily displaced him from his space-time reference, granting him a rare glimpse into the past, present, and future simultaneously. Yet within the electromagnetic field, he found himself paralyzed, unable to aid himself. It was his vigilant assistant who intervened, switching off the power just in time to prevent permanent damage. Years later, a variation of this experiment would resurface during the infamous Philadelphia experiment. Tesla, working in concert with the experimental team, would attempt to harness the power of electromagnetic fields to transport a ship through both space and time. While skeptics often dismiss such notions as science fiction, there remains a belief among some that the tantalizing possibility of time travel is yet to be fully explored in the future. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. As I stood on the bustling streets of 2023, I knew my mission was risky. Dressed in my sleek time traveler's attire, I braced myself to deliver an urgent message. People passed by, oblivious to the impending cataclysm. "I'm a time traveler from the year 2345. I'm so sorry for what's coming," I began, my voice trembling. The crowd froze, their skepticism giving way to curiosity. I repeated, "I'm so sorry for what's coming. In 2345, our world was ravaged by climate disasters and technology gone awry. The skies are choked with smog, and the seas have swallowed coastlines." Whispers spread through the crowd as I unveiled holographic images of a desolate future, a world where humanity fought for survival amidst relentless storms and dwindling resources. "There is hope," I proclaimed, "if we act now. Change our course, protect the planet, and use technology wisely. It's not too late." My plea hung in the air, echoing with a sense of urgency. A chance to rewrite the future had been laid at their feet. The onlookers, now moved by a collective purpose, realized that the destiny of their world rested on their actions. The message had been delivered, but whether it would be heeded remained uncertain. What do you think? Let us know your opinions in the comments below. Time-traveling man. Meanwhile, in one intriguing instance, a man claimed to have journeyed to the year 2345, bearing ominous predictions. But could time travel be possible? And who was this enigmatic temporal traveler? The mysteries surrounding time travel paradoxes beckon us into the tale of a man and his dire prophecies for all of humanity. As a child, Albielek was anything but ordinary. Born in 1927, his exceptional intelligence set him apart. His prodigious memory and uncanny comprehension skills earned him the nickname Walking Encyclopedia, since he could effortlessly recite verbatim what he had recently read. His remarkable journey through life began early. At just 9 months old, he claimed to overhear a conversation and fully understand the spoken words. Years later, he watched the film, The Philadelphia Experiment, and something within him stirred. The movie, set during World War II, depicted sailors on the USS Eldridge who stumbled upon a way to make the U.S. Navy's vessels disappear. In the film, the ship's crew mysteriously vanishes, transported through time, a notion that resonated with Al. A peculiar sense of recognition washed over him. Driven by this strange familiarity, Al experimented with various New Age treatments, feeling like he was repressing a crucial piece of his past. In the process, long-forgotten memories resurfaced. He unearthed that his real name was Edward Cameron, and he had been born in 1916. The individuals he had believed to be his parents were legal guardians appointed by the state. Hidden truths began to unravel for Al when he dug deep into his past. He revealed that his biological brother Duncan had been concealed from him for years, perhaps as a result of his endeavor to bury his memories. As his recollections resurfaced, Al discovered a staggering revelation. He and his brother had actively participated in the infamous Philadelphia experiment. This enigmatic project, Al claimed, had its origins as far back as 1931. During World War II, the brothers enlisted to work on the clandestine mission. Al narrated their direct involvement, recounting that in 1943, they were eyewitnesses to the project's most extraordinary experiments. According to his account, a team of experts aimed to cloak American vessels from Nazi detection, with 3 of them carrying the names John Hutchinson, von Neumann, and Tesla. Success had graced their earlier attempts at concealing smaller vessels in 1940, spurring them to set their sights on the USS Eldridge 3 years later. However, on July 22nd, a major hiccup threatened to derail their efforts. The ship vanished, but after a mere 15 minutes, it reappeared, and the crew was left delirious and physically ailing. Al asserted that despite John von Neumann's pleas for additional time, the Navy insisted on accelerating testing. In a surreal twist, Al and his sibling returned to the USS Eldridge, only to realize that they weren't on it upon its reappearance. Panic set in, and the 2 brothers chose to jump ship. Their arrival on land didn't align with the expected 1943 Philadelphia. Instead, they found themselves in 1983, in Montauk, New York. They were greeted by guards, helicopters, and the astonishing sight of John F. Newman, who had aged 4 decades since their last meeting. The brothers found themselves in a clandestine underground facility, according to Al. His astounding assertion was that they had traversed time itself, caught within a hyperspace bubble, an eerie phenomenon they had encountered through John von Neumann's earlier explanations. This singular event, Al insisted, posed an existential threat to planet Earth. As the fabric of time unraveled before them, the dire situation at hand became apparent to Al, Duncan, and the soldiers standing by. John von Neumann had a solution. To halt the impending cataclysm, they must return to the USS Eldridge and obliterate the machinery responsible for this temporal disaster. Their very mission was to mend the time rifts that had thrown the world into chaos. The men ventured back in time, armed with nothing but axes, poised to confront the machinery threatening to unmake reality. With each swing, the generators succumbed to the relentless assault. As the machines crumbled, time itself began to heal, knitting the torn fabric back together. The USS Eldridge was set on a journey back to 1943, and Al, having played a pivotal role in its restoration, blacked out. When he awoke, Al found himself and his brother in a hospital. But the year remained uncertain. Was it 1943, or had they somehow ventured forward to 1983? According to Al's recollection, it was 2137. During their 6 weeks of recovery, they grappled with the aftermath of radiation burns. Yet the future was far from what they had ever imagined. In this unfamiliar world, hospitals operated on advanced principles that replaced conventional bandages and antibiotic creams with cutting-edge light and vibration energy treatments. Television programming was a window into the unsettling changes wrought by time travel, showcasing old stations, historical documentaries, and a stark absence of comedies and soap operas. As Al delved deeper into this reality, he learned of startling shifts in American geography. Between 2020 and 2025, the United States had lost substantial territory, transforming the once flourishing state of Florida into the thriving city of Atlanta. Sovereignty had given way to a global military dictatorship, as the world's population dwindled from 7.7 billion to a mere 300 million, a consequence of nuclear devastation. When Al sought to return to his original time, he inadvertently landed in the year 2749, a world forever scarred by nuclear conflict. Yet, amidst the ruins, humanity had pieced together a utopia, their resilience forging a new path and offering a glimpse of hope in the face of adversity. According to Al, a future beyond our imagination awaited humanity. The shackles of money and employment were shattered and rendered obsolete by the marvel of anti-gravity machines and the proliferation of robots in the workforce. A world at peace emerged, free from the shadows of war, proof of mankind's progress. Yet, the journey through time had left a lasting imprint on Al and his brother. Transported back to 1983, Duncan experienced the unforeseen toll, succumbing to an early demise. In an extraordinary plea, Al urged his parents to conceive another child so that he could inherit Duncan's memories and ideas. Through Duncan's telepathic powers, Al's memories were wiped, and he was sent back to 1927, assuming a new identity. This tale, at the nexus of reality and fiction, has sparked debate among conspiracy theorists. Al remains steadfast, asserting the authenticity of his time travels. As we approach 2025, the year he indicated Florida would vanish, we await confirmation of his claims. Meanwhile, in the realm of science, time travel is a reality, albeit not as depicted in popular fiction. Every passing moment is a journey through time, an undeniable reality we all share. However, the whimsical time travel often portrayed in science fiction, like Doctor Who or Back to the Future, delves into the realms of parallel universes and alternate timelines. Here, characters grapple with the repercussions of altering the past or present based on insights from the future, weaving intricate narratives of cause and effect that captivate the imagination. Time travel, as depicted in most fictional narratives, often involves a dramatic entry into a time machine, followed by a magical reappearance in settings like the Wild West, medieval realms with knights, or even the era of dinosaurs. These cinematic adventures paint a vivid picture of time travel. While scientists may not yet regard time travel as plausible in the real world, they're hesitant to dismiss the idea entirely. The subtleties and intricacies of the concept are what truly matter. In the realm of physics, there's a subtle acknowledgement that time travel might not be entirely impossible. However, the kind of time travel portrayed in science fiction, where people seamlessly shuttle back and forth through time, or methods of sending someone through significant periods without harm, remains unproven. Stephen Hawking, in Black Holes and Baby Universes, pointed out that our best evidence against time travelers' feasibility is the lack of future tourists invading our present. Yet science provides tantalizing support for certain aspects of time manipulation. Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity underscores the relativity of time concerning the observer. Someone hurtling through space at nearly the speed of light would age at a significantly slower rate than a stationary individual. An actual case in point is astronaut Scott Kelly, who aged marginally slower during his year in space compared to his identical twin brother back on Earth. Delving into the strange physics underpinning time travel, one encounters notions of wormholes, black holes, and string theory. These fascinating concepts often serve as rich material for science fiction across various media, from novels and films to TV shows, comics, video games, and more. Nevertheless, let's ponder this intriguing question. Can we truly traverse through time? The short answer is yes, and you're doing it right now, hurtling through time at the constant rate of 1 second per second. Time, a relentless river, flows at the same pace whether you're impatiently watching paint dry or yearning for more hours to connect with a distant friend. It's the universal rhythm that governs our existence. However, the time travel you've likely encountered in popular science fiction tales like Doctor Who, Star Trek, or Back to the Future differs from the concept at hand. In these stories, intrepid characters step into whimsical vehicles and embark on journeys into the past or catapult themselves into the future. They reappear amidst cowboys, knights, or even dinosaurs, sparking riveting adventures. The crux of time travel narratives often involves a dance with parallel universes and alternate timelines. The protagonists grapple with the profound consequences of tampering with the past or present based on insights from the future. It's a riveting exploration of what-if scenarios and their intricate repercussions. In reality, scientists haven't yet wholly ruled out the possibility of time travel. While they don't readily embrace the idea, they don't discard it entirely. The notion of leaping through time may indeed be tethered to the laws of physics. Yet it's the subtle nuances and complexities of such endeavors that keep scientists cautious. No one has, as of yet, demonstrated the kind of time travel seen in science fiction, where individuals shuttle back and forth in time with ease. Renowned physicist Stephen Hawking noted in his work, Black Holes and Baby Universes, that our strongest evidence against time travel is the notable absence of future tourists descending upon our present. The concept of manipulating time finds a foothold in scientific theory, particularly within Albert Einstein's groundbreaking work. Einstein's special theory of relativity posits that time is not a constant, but rather a variable dependent on the observer's perspective. When one approaches the speed of light, time appears to slow down. A person in motion at such velocities would age more slowly and, quite literally, become bored at a diminished rate compared to someone at rest. This phenomenon was vividly demonstrated when astronaut Scott Kelly spent a year in space, returning slightly younger than his identical twin brother, who remained on Earth. The most peculiar physics of time travel finds its roots in ideas associated with wormholes, black holes, and string theory. These theoretical constructs have become rich sources of inspiration across a myriad of media, including novels, films, television shows, comics, and video games. But it doesn't end there. The peculiar dance between time and gravity plays a role in this cosmic chronicle. Einstein's general theory of relativity asserts that the stronger the local gravity, the slower time passes. Drexel University cosmologist Dave Goldberg has delved into the details of this temporal tango, revealing that near massive bodies, such as neutron stars or even the Earth's surface, time plods along at a slower pace compared to the timeless rush experienced further away. In the proximity of a black hole where gravity's grip is formidable, time assumes an entirely different dimension. Someone dwelling near a black hole's edge might experience mere hours, while a distant Earthling accumulates 1,000 years. A journey back to Earth from such a vantage point would equate to stepping into the future, leaving behind the familiar chronicle of the past. However, traveling backward in time presents a far greater challenge than facing the potential disintegration within a black hole. For decades, scientists grappled with the paradoxes intertwined with time travel, striving to unravel its complexities using the foundation of general relativity. The seeds of potential solutions were sown as early as the 1920s with the idea of a cylinder that could twist space-time akin to rolling a straw between your palms. It wasn't until the 1970s that a breakthrough occurred, revealing that this contraption might function as a time machine to journey into the past, a possibility arising from the discovery of closed time-like curves. A closed time-like curve outlines a hypothetical observer's path, seemingly moving forward in time, yet looping back to the initial point in both time and space. This fascinating concept emerged from the warping and folding of space-time induced by gravity, leading to space-time loops. This realization sparked a wave of serious scientific attention towards time travel during the 1980s, as scholars like Igor Novakov of Russia and Kip Thorne of the United States delved into its mechanics and potential construction. However, the allure of time travel also brought forth profound conundrums. Ponder this scenario: tossing a billiard ball into a time machine, sending it to the past where it collides with its earlier self, and then returning to the present. Paradoxes like these continued to challenge researchers, emphasizing the criticality of addressing the intricacies and potential inconsistencies of time travel. Despite intermittent interest in the subject, scientists persevered in their quest to grasp the enigmatic intricacies of traversing through time. Since the 1990s, endeavors to construct viable time machines have been underway, yet significant progress remains elusive. Every model conceived thus far grapples with inherent flaws, contributing to the relative dormancy of this field. While time travel holds intriguing potential, a notable stumbling block soon emerges upon delving into the complexities. Albert Einstein's revelation about the interchangeability of mass and energy illuminates a crucial aspect. Many time travel theories hinge on the existence of negative mass, similar to the concept of negative charge in electricity. While theoretically possible, the practical manifestation of negative mass remains an enigma. Utilizing exotic matter or rare elements becomes a consideration, particularly to keep a wormhole stable, a projected space-time tunnel bridging vast cosmic distances. This tunnel, or cosmic tube, would crumble under immense gravitational forces unless counteracted by negative mass or energy. However, while the concept holds promise, the existence of negative mass remains improbable. Some scientists, however, explore quantum phenomena, like negative energy on minuscule scales, offering a glimmer of hope for a plausible time machine. Proposed theories often involve wormholes or cosmic tubes, essentially creating shortcuts through the cosmos. The hypothetical scenario involves sending one end of the wormhole near a massive gravitational field, like a black hole, while the other remains in a weaker gravitational influence. This setup could, in theory, allow for time travel as time dilation occurs due to the contrasting gravitational forces between the ends of the wormhole. Creating functional time machines is a complex puzzle indeed, hampered by the need for elusive negative mass and energy. Think of it like trying to make a pizza with flavors no one has ever tasted. A delightful idea, but it only exists in theory. Wormholes, a prominent concept in time travel made from ordinary matter, would disintegrate swiftly due to gravitational forces. This struggle with theoretical concepts is similar to attempting to craft the impossible. As the renowned physicist Stephen Hawking noted, the issue extends beyond mere technicalities. In his musings published in Physical Review D in 1992, he pondered the existence of a chronology protection agency that prevents the formation of closed, time-like curves. These are the cosmic pathways enabling time travel, and their existence could potentially lead to paradoxes like the billiard ball paradox or the famous grandfather paradox, where altering the past could eliminate one's existence. Augustin Rao, a philosopher from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, delves into these intricate dilemmas. He doesn't just examine the implications of causation and chronology, but also probes the depths of human free will. If physics entertains the notion of time travel, what's preventing someone from going back and reshaping their past? This introspective conundrum nudges at the boundaries of human agency. Rao, however, maintains a sneaking suspicion that time travel and free will could harmoniously coexist. When we ponder free will and the past, intriguing questions arise. As Augustin Rao suggests, the past is carved in stone, unchangeable. For instance, if your grandfather lived long enough to have children, traveling back in time wouldn't alter that fact. But here's the twist. The reason you'd fail in your quest to eliminate your grandfather isn't due to some cosmic conspiracy. It's the mundane and often comical mishaps that life throws our way. Imagine this. You embark on your time travel mission with resolute determination, only to slip on a banana peel on your way, or perhaps you miss your bus. These seemingly trivial events conspire to keep your grandfather safe from harm. The future of time travel remains an enigma, and intriguingly, no one from the future has arrived to clarify its possibilities. We're left with stories like Albielix, which add layers of mystery to our understanding, but confirmation of these tales remains elusive, wrapped in the shroud of uncertainty. Do you think we have people from the past or future presently living amongst us? Let us know in the comments section.